minute and 2 seconds of opening logos. The Studio Canal intro is far more interesting than the rest of this movie. What's with the numbers, the electricity, stars, circles, stitching, and punchy, eerie soundtrack? There's a story here, and I want to know it.
It all began on New Year's Day in my 32nd year of being single.
Narration. Also, my 32nd year of being single is an overly dramatic thing to say. You weren't even dating eligible for what, 15 of those years? So it's really only been 17 years you've been single. And I'm guessing it's because you're the kind of person that counts the years you've been single and includes the non-dating in Pampers years just to pad your guilt total. Also, they couldn't find a British actress to play this role.
Every year she tries to fix me up with some bushy-haired, middle-aged bore.
Maybe you should specify your interest in humans. That usually helps people set you up with your stronger species preferences.
My mum, a strange creature from a time when pickles on toothpicks was still the height of sophistication.
Pickles on toothpicks were never the height of anything. Also, they are called gherkins in your neck of the woods movie. Don't say pickles for the sake of statessiders. Also, the amount of effort this family must exert to keep these cream carpets clean.
Doilies pan, third drawer from the top, Una, under the mini gherkins.
This lunatic mother keeps mini gherkins in the second from the top drawer somewhere near the doilies. What other random things are stored in this doily pickle place? Crumpets? Sugar lumps? Toenail clippings? Why are there gherkins with the doilies at all?
Used to play in his paddling pool. He's a barrister, very well off.
I see I'll have to have my what people in the UK call things dictionary handy. Paddling pool, just say kiddie pool. Barrister, a job of some kind, okay. Well off. Oh, I know that one. Carry on.
He's divorced, apparently. His wife was Japanese. Very cruel race.
That's certifiably racist.
Never get a boyfriend if you look like you've wandered out of Auschwitz.
Bridget does not immediately turn and walk out of her mother's house.
Laid out something lovely on your bed.
Laying clothes out for your grown child.
Someone who insists I call him uncle while he gropes my ass.
Casual with a f***ism.
Why don't we see if Mark fancies a gherkin?
This is far too many toothpicks and far too few gherkins.
Unless something changed soon, I was going to live a life where my major relationship was with a bottle of wine.
Listen, I can think of a lot worse things to have friendships with than a bottle of wine. Also, it's hilarious that this movie thinks it's one of those movies that deserves a delayed opening credits, when in reality it's just a garden variety movie deserving of zero special treatment. Double also Miramax.
I'd finally die fat and alone and be found 3 weeks later, half-eaten by wild dogs.
Describing a much more interesting movie. She's watching Frasier? That's minus 5 sins no matter the reason. Sorry, Frasier is one of the best 5 sitcoms ever made. My hands are tied here. As she lip syncs along to All By Myself, I have to point out that maybe getting drunk and listening to All By Myself isn't the best idea after you've been defeated. Also, I can't play it for you, but it's super loud and I would call the cops if I were her neighbor. All 112 minutes of Renee lip syncing to Celine Dion's All By Myself. I think I figured out why she's alone.
I decided to take control of my life and start a diary.
Starting a diary does not, in fact, give you control over your life. It can be helpful to journal your experiences, but the idea that those journals will give you more control over your life, yeah, that's garbage.
Unfortunately, he just happens to be my boss. I suspect he does not fantasize about me.
Having the hots for a boss that's out of her league was kind of Renee Zellweger's whole lane for a bit, wasn't it? I wish I could play it for you, but this is the worst karaoke ever committed to film. However, it's so bad that it's that kind of obviously fakey bad variety. And I'm going to send that laziness as well. Remember when Apple was completely into these brightly colored monitors? That was an amazing 6 months.
Emergency summit with Urban Family for coherent discussion of career crisis.
Looks like a measly ratio of chips to guac, along with 2 incredibly full ashtrays and a bowl full of grapes. Also, I think the movie was just trying to make me feel bad for Bridget because she's all by herself. But here she is with a group of friends.
A lot of them.
My feelings about the New York Yankees somehow end up in this movie. Nokia sponsorships were demanding back in the day. In this scene, you are at a bar surrounded by alcohol, cigarettes, and a box with a Nokia phone with accessories. Your job is to hold the phone so that everyone sees how important it is. Dressing hot to get the attention of a man. If I had a nickel for every time I've done this. I mean, that's not our sound, but I guess it'll do.
What are you doing tonight?
Actually, I'm busy.
She says, "Oh, I'm busy," instead of, "You grabbed my ass without consent and you were lucky that I haven't called the cops."
Oh!
I know it's a movie, and I'm not trying to see her naked, but what woman stands in the tub with a towel wrapped around her body when she waxes her legs?
2. Then totally ignore Daniel and suck up to famous authors.
Just say, "Play hard to get."
Isn't it terrible about Chechnya? Isn't it terrible about Chechnya?
It is indeed.
Tricky. Very tricky.
It's tricky to rock a rhyme, that's right on time. It's tricky.
I am the intellectual equal of everyone else here.
That can't possibly be true. She laughs like she understands the conversation, but then Salman Rushdie here point blank asks for her opinion. And instead of saying something like, I would rather hear what one of these assembled geniuses has to say about it, she actually stammers a bit and then asks where the toilets are. And we have only begun to scratch the surface of Bridget's ability to embarrass herself.
Can't get any worse.
Cliché.
This is Mark Darcy.
Mr. Darcy? God, does every British film have to use Darcy as the handsome man's surname?
Thank you, Brenda.
That is the third time he's called her Brenda when her name is Bridget. And did this movie just watch The Devil Wears Prada too many times or what? Openly smoking indoors right next to a table full of alcohol. I sympathize with your situation, Bridget, but I do not approve of your immediate responses.
I think I'm gonna have to take you out to dinner now, whether you like it or not, okay?
Bridget, run! Colin Firth looks on, knowing his character is a much better person than the character Hugh Grant is playing, and I admire his restraint. Also, why is Colin Firth always playing characters that have to show restraint?
I made the somewhat catastrophic mistake of introducing him to my fiancée.
In college, I also made a catastrophic mistake of assuming my girlfriend wouldn't my roommate.
Absolutely enormous panties. No, don't apologize. I like them.
Guys who want to get into your pants will lie about literally anything, including sudden and unexpected depends. So, to be clear, Bridget is saying, no, and then we cut to the next morning. Not awkward to watch at all.
It started on Tuesday and now it's Thursday.
When a guy starts telling you how long you've been together down to the day, he's getting ready to run.
Bridget Jones, wanton sex goddess with a very bad man between her thighs.
Bridget is shocked that her mother is on the other line, but her reaction would be the same regardless of who is on the line. Right? No one recovers after answering the phone like that. Also, storing your phone on the floor. There's a perfect place for it on the bookshelf if you move the stupid candles that are the lifelong enemy of books.
It's a truth universally acknowledged that the moment one area of your life starts going okay, another part of it falls spectacularly to pieces.
Wait, some people have one area of their life that's going okay?
Darling, if I came in with my knickers on my head, you wouldn't notice.
Saying this to your daughter.
I must whiz.
If my mother ever said to me, I must whiz, I think I would die on the spot of embarrassment, even if no one else heard her say it.
You got a boyfriend? A real one?
Implying her past boyfriends have been,
Hurrah! I am no longer tragic spinster.
It was exactly 1 minute and 38 seconds ago when Bridget said things got a lot worse. And now suddenly we're hurrahing because life has speedballed to greatness. If the movie wants me to care about the lows and the highs, it needs to stop flipping through the diary entries all willy-nilly.
This can't be just shagging. A mini break means true love.
Who wants to tell her?
We have a wedding this weekend. I believe there are just 4 of you not involved.
And those 4 just happen to be enemies and just happen to go to the same holiday spot. What is this, some small country with very few mini holiday options?
That thing you just did is actually illegal in several countries.
But will we be told what that thing is? No, we are left to our imaginations, which I'm sure was not nearly as graphic in 2001. But nowadays, we have porn categories and countless subcategories to leaf through in our imaginations. The thing we now have to consider will derail entire workdays, movie. Just tell us it was butt stuff so we can not be that impressed and move on. Whenever a young person complains about screen resolutions, I will point out the size of televisions like this. Back in my day, we were lucky to have any size square screen across the room, and one janky remote was a bonus. If you squinted real hard, you can make out the faintest outline of a man named Andy Griffith.
Trying hard to fight off a vision of Mum and Auntie Una in fishnet tights.
The easiest way to do that is to not attend a party where your family members are in fishnets, right?
Bop, bop.
Goddamn fucking hell!
You love each other. It's only a temporary glitch.
And then all the children of divorces around the world collectively sighed with understanding. Duh. See, it's extra sad because Bridget drove from the party to Daniel's house and is now walking through the streets in her bunny costume. It's all super embarrassing because she is wearing her shame for all to see instead of, changing into any of the other clothes she packed into her bag for the weekend trip. Oh, great. Now I've been spoiled on how Fatal Attraction ends. Fucking hell. Why would this woman, as presented thus far, fucking have Twister? Also, that lamp by the board games is a fire hazard, and the lions having sex on the TV is a too on-the-nose visual analogy for the story. Hugh Grant takes a Hugh Grantian amount of time to say that he's f***ing another woman, which, it should be noted, was already obvious to all parties involved.
We're engaged.
Oh, shit. Not just I'm dating other women, but I'm marrying another woman. That is a pretty big jump. The pass-out drunk flashback only serves as a reminder that the entirety of the movie so far could have been shorter, and we'd really not have missed much. What the time of day is Bridget going to this massive gym when no one else is there? When is that magical time when one can sweat and rip ass alone? Throwing away books and cigarettes and other good stuff. Holy shit, Bridget needs to apply to this one because they've already given her a raise by the end of the ad. Acting like a woman could fall at the gym like this without being immediately swarmed by helpful males.
At Sit Up Britain, No one ever gets sacked for shagging the boss.
Not immediately asking to review the employee handbook and demand a raise. Now she's impulsively quit her job in front of the entire office that has an all-glass office at one end and has a balcony overhanging a massive shared cubicle space. And this movie would make an excellent double feature with Jerry Maguire.
Oh God, I'm having dinner with Magda and Jeremy.
Is she surprised about this? It appears she got home from work, wrote about her workday in her journal, and then added her dinner plans at the end. I guess watching her ass hit the camera over and over wiped her memory? Or the movie is doubling down on back-to-back rushing scenes so no one notices the lack of substance in this film?
The only thing worse than smug married couple. Lots of smug married couples.
Does Bridget not have the internal fortitude to say no to these horrendous parties? She has enough evidence in this movie alone to prove she should just stay home and wait for the internet to get popular.
Natasha Glenville and Mark Darcy.
Because of course Mark Darcy is here. We have to be reminded that Bridget is nothing without him. Bridget is clearly arriving after the tomato and mozzarella slice course. How rude.
Why is it there are so many unmarried women in their 30s these days, Bridget?
The movie wants me to feel sorry for Bridget because she is average and not perfect. But then it stacks the deck in its own favor by constantly having other characters be unreasonably mean to her for no reason at all. And it ultimately makes it harder for me to feel sorry for her.
And you really are an appallingly bad public speaker.
Flirting.
November 9th. Weight, 138 pounds.
Jesus fucking Christ, would you look at what our culture does to women? 138 pounds is fine. She's beautiful.
And Eleanor, over to you. Did you fancy Kathir the first time that you saw him?
What the kind of People magazine gossip column bullshit question is that? Honestly, I think Bridget Jones might actually be the least likable movie hero I've ever encountered. I had to call her the hero because protagonist, despite the public perception, doesn't mean good person. It just means person from whose perspective the story is being told. But she's not a hero either. She's actually kind of terrible. But the sin still stands because even if I can't pin down a label on her, she still sucks. Do the British just not believe in overhead lighting? Or even proper lighting? She's making dinner in the lighting equivalent of a closet. Holy there's no recipe on earth for 4 people that would ever require this many oranges. This is like 60 oranges. I'm concerned.
I can't deny the sex is still very surprising.
The movie tries to normalize women talking about sex on screen, which is a step forward. But the movie also makes that conversation between a daughter and a mother, which is a step backward. But also, if it was trying to make a sex chat between daughter and mother also normalized, it shoots itself in the foot by having Bridget be grossed out by the thought altogether.
Oh, shit. It must have been the string.
I can't tell if Bridget is socially awkward, unlucky, or dumb. And that's the movie's fault. Wait, so the blue string bled into the leek and fennel soup and she still served it?
Mark, why did your wife leave you?
This movie is full of people who ask absurdly personal questions at group meals, and it's a really distracting and weird recurring theme.
4 hours of careful cooking and a feast of blue soup, omelette, and marmalade.
But it's in the service of making Colin Firth fall in love with her, can't you see? In entertainment, it's okay for bad meals to be extra bad, but people aren't that upset about it. Just look at Rachel's trifle on Friends. Everyone hated it but Joey, and they were all super polite about it. Asshole boy shows up for a holiday meal at Bridget's because he is drunk and lonely and looking to
Bye, Bridget.
This dude is the only smart person in this entire movie. Darcy punches Cleaver and it's glorious.
Fight!
Somehow this devolves immediately into high school. It's in this moment, as the 2 men fight over Bridget, that I realize neither of them deserve her. One is a prick who just wants sex, and the other is infatuated from a distance without any real knowledge about her.
What is your problem?
My problem.
I'm with Darcy. You want to know what his problem is? Did you not even see how Cleaver behaved tonight? Man, Bridget is really hard to root for.
I'm still looking for something.
'Cause she still hasn't found what she's looking for.
Well, I'm going to Bedfordshire.
At this hour? Oh, is that a joke about going to bed? I can't tell because there are far too many shires in England. Oh look, Bridget's mother who ran off with a TV host is back. Suddenly, with no warning, and no real apparent story impact. It just is happening.
Close up, he was almost purple.
Skip!
He had a filthy temper.
I know this movie is already short, but goddamn, I do not need this reconciling of her parents where her mother talks about how inadequate the man was that she left her husband for.
I'm joking, you daft cow.
Forgiving massive amounts of cheating just to feel better on a daily basis.
Mark comes home early from work, finds the pair of them in a most unorthodox position.
I don't think the missionary position is unorthodox. It's the most basic of positions. Bridget's mom should really stop exaggerating.
He has just been invited to be a senior partner in the firm of Abbott & Abbott in New York.
This is, I assure you, solely because of his track record and not because his name is the same as mine. Oh shit, he flew to New York to look for. She retitles the book to be even meaner to herself.
I just wanted to know if you were available for bar mitzvahs and christenings.
Eat shit, you last-minute arriving dick fool. Oh, she's gonna fall for this and f me sideways. Real snowflakes do not retain their shape this long after landing on a warm body.
Look, are you coming to f***ing Paris or not?
Not.
And f her bags of clothes that were already packed in the car, I guess. Darcy's superpower seems to be finding diary entries related to her negative feelings for him this past year. It's a really dumb ability. Right, he went for a diary down the street without calling back with a be right back, because normal people walk away from the one that got away and risk getting the getting away bit all over again.
Mark! Mark!
It's wild to me that we feel like this is the only opportunity these two have to finally connect. They have wound up at parties since they were 4 and 8 for one, and most importantly, they have phone numbers. It's a legit miracle that she isn't hit on a dozen times, given that she is in panties and a sweater. Everything works out perfectly for her and for him because it's a movie and there never was any other outcome.
Sweetie pie hole! Como se llama? No, Kelly Clarkson!
So, how's your love life?
Just shut up.
How'd you do? My name's Charles.
He just said, you complete me.
Can you imagine thousands of years from now people accepting Jar Jar as a significant religious figure?
No, Kelly Clarkson!
Hello, I'm Dr. Bean, apparently.
As you know, I love you very much.
Are you breaking up with me?
Pete, are you,
I just need a minute.
You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you.
What are you doing here?
The relative situation of our families is such that any alliance between us must be regarded as a highly reprehensible connection.